You guys, I am so freaking excited to review this album. I have been waiting for it for longer than you might imagined. I knew that she would have a moment like this again. So honestly, when Solar Power came out, which I believe, and honestly, if you want me to talk about it more in depth, I can. I believe that enable for this album Virgin to come out and to be made and to be received fully, she had to have a Solar Power moment. I think there had to be a dichotomy, or people would have just said it's more of the same. I don't think that it would have been critically received well. I don't even know if it has, but I haven't listened to any reviews. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I've seen some thumbnails, but for the large part, I've really ignored a lot of how this album has been received so far. I also did just want to say this. So I recorded a reaction to the new Haim album, but the audio was weird. And so I still will be reacting to the album. It won't be a first listen, but honestly, I'm really happy that it's not the first listen through. Not because there wasn't a lot of gold that I didn't mind from that first one run through, but because I honestly think that now I've just been able to digest it. And that album is so rich and so full of feeling, and I just feel like it would aid itself to talk about the songs as we listen to them together in a way where I maybe have even more to bring to the table, and you in the comments can also react more to things and tell me parts about the album that you really loved or connected with, or things that you didn't connect with then because of my video you did, or vice versa. Like, I just think that it'll create a wider scope. I might even do a revisit with this album, but I knew I needed to react to this in its rawest, most virgin form. I'm really excited to do that. How has she introduced this album? Well, I'm sure hopefully I've inserted some clips here or there, but I'm gonna do a little looky-loo and see what I can find. I think this part of the album that I'm most excited to really see if it follows through with is this idea that she has, well, here I should say this. This is a quote. This is a quote from her 2024 newsletter. It's about being okay with the part of yourself that has no reference points. The blank slate. I felt like I had to let myself be stupid and inarticulate to get something real. That is exactly how I feel about art. I think it should just be paint thrown on a wall. It's not the job of the artist to conclude, it's the job of the artist to ideate, at least for me. So with that being said, throwing away the parts of yourself that feel like you need to explain something in a more interesting or intellectual way, something that I think Lorde has pigeonholed into, where rather either that being from the name she's given herself, Lorde, or from how people received her first album Into Melodrama. You know, I think the public's idea of her is that she's incredibly intellectual, articulate, emotionally in tune, and you can kind of see the response of that when maybe she herself is moving out of that self-belief or fearful of it into Solar Power, an album that I love or really like, but I would argue is also overwritten or is looking for something that I don't think it ever fully finds. And that's okay. And in fact, I would say that I'm really hoping that this album feels, well, like she said, a blank slate, no reference points. Another really interesting that she spoke about is of, well, and this one I'm not gonna quote, but it's like the idea of knowing nothing and that freedom that can come from that. I'm really hopeful that if anything, she feels as if she achieved that. But now as a listener and knowing what she's given, I'm hoping that I can see that. I can see that whether it's that journey into that, or if it's the journey of now that I'm in this point of feeling like I don't need anything but the freedom of knowing I don't know, let's see where that takes me. I'm not really sure exactly what angle that she's going to approach this or that idea of from, but I'm really excited about that. Finally, just the idea is like it's like capturing the first breath of something. So before you run it around a couple times to create a more well-rounded piece, you just say what's off the top of your head. And I think that is true vulnerability. I think that is introspective, because it's acknowledging that before you can get to that point where something is well thought, you might have some of your biases show. You might just have thoughts that aren't well rounded, that are rough, or that are too smooth, wet. I've also, it's just an important fact to say that she's synesthetic or she has synesthesia. So understanding that for her, this album is clear, or, and also sort of like in some of the vinyl pressings of like Bathwater Blue, or, it's very blue, which is why, we do what we can. But I'm hoping that it feels transparent. I'm hoping that I see something in her that I hadn't before. So I'm sure you guys knew that I just reacted to the title track Hammer. I am going to listen to it because I think that this album deserves to be listened to in full, but I may not respond as much. You know, I may just like get a da 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 and then a da 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 and talk about it, but I'm really excited to just let it flow. As this will also go into What Was That and Man of the Year. I think I talked about this. I didn't respond to that song via YouTube, but nonetheless, it was a really exciting it has become a really exciting song for me, a song that's become only more interesting the longer I've digested it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to feel that way about this album. But no spawns, obviously, but I just got some blue. And you guys, this is the crazy part. My mom has listened to the album before I have. That's not okay. So we're about to rectify that. Track number 1, Hammer. I love that. When you're holding a hammer, says I'm a woman, some says I'm a man. I'm ready to feel like I don't have the answers, not knowing she's ready for that. You guys, I changed because it's really hot in New York right now, and I couldn't do it. It was too many layers. I know I look better, but whatever, this is fine. It's still blue. But okay, so I wanted to just do like, so if I were to like describe that song just off of this is only, now I've listened to it maybe like 5 or 6 times, but in the context of the album, I would say this song, she's entering the era. I would say she's entering this new phase of wanting, right? She's ready to feel like she doesn't have all the answers. You know, the song feels like a rush because she's caught this wave of an excitement of being ready to enter an era. And so that's really what that song felt like to me. And we're gonna go straight into track number 2, What Was That? Another song we know, another song we love, so let's just let it rock for a moment. A place in the city, a chair and a bed, all the mirrors I can't see myself in. MDMA in the back garden, block pupils up. That is, what an incredible first like lead single. By the way, I have this really, it's glass. It's a set of 4. I got it at like I don't know, some sort of like sale. I'm going to pour the blue Gatorade in here. Don't worry, it's still just Gatorade, but it's like I have these iconic glasses. I might as well use them. Cheers to you. And once again, if I had to just say like 3 words for What Was That, I would say recognition, freedom. Okay, let's go to track number 3. The first track I don't know, Shapeshifter. The voice in my head says, do you have the stones? This is so funny. There's actually some like vocal parallels to Haim's album I Quit, and I like that. Then I've slept with the pace of hands I'm reckless. I've been the ice, I've been the flame. I really like that. I've been the ice, I've been the flame. I might as well look up the lyrics. Okay, so Genius is saying for verse 1, it's chewing gum, I know. Don't hate the sour taste that's in my throat. But the voice in my head says, do you have the stones? When you get close enough, I'll let down my braids and you'll climb up. In my room, we can do anything you want. Lyrics that first listen to, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But that's the thing. You don't always need to know right away. Okay, then we hop into the pre-chorus. Love that line. Everyone that I've slept with, all the pairs of hands, I'm reckless. That's perfect. I love that line. If I'm fine without it, why can't I stop? Everything I want speeding up my pulse. I don't sleep, don't dream at all. Give them nothing personal, so I'm not affected. It's almost like going through the motions, finding thrill in it, but also being lost in the understanding that you're not actually feeling much at all, except for potentially a high. And I don't mean like a drug high, I just mean, you know, a high of the moment. But when the moment passes, it's what is there. And then also I think like knowing that she ends that pre-chorus with, give them nothing personal, so I'm not affected. It's also understanding that she's putting up walls for these people because she feels maybe that they'll let them down, or she'll let them down, or they will let her. You know, it's really interesting. And then we go into the chorus. I see a hot mess in an antique skirt. The voice in my head says, so then leave alone. I can already tell there's gonna be a lot of pausings, which is great because this is a great. Wow. Okay. There's the line I really liked in there. Mirror, mirror on his shirt, I see a hot mess in an antique shirt. But the voice in my head says, don't let him leave alone. Dualities. What are we? We're dualities. It's walking in knowing this person's not going to do me right, but also I cannot leave without him. I think there's also something that she's touching on here about like compulsive, like her level of compulsion and like in the moment if there's like an instant desire and just following through with it. And I mean, once again, that's real. The sonic landscape of this is really grungy. And I don't literally mean like grunge, like there's like a movement attached or like a music style. I just mean like it's a little like, it's definitely New York. It's definitely like you're ogling the room. You're probably in like in an antique shop. You're just sort of like looking around like on the hunt, if you will. I feel that. I really fuck with this song. Also, just I've been the ice, I've been the flame, I've been the prize, the ball, the chain. So I've been the dice, the magic eight, so I'm not affected. It's saying like I've been all the iterations. So whatever comes my way, I know exactly how to handle. I know exactly how to shapeshift. Oh, this song is good. Wow. It almost felt like that last, she was just like, ah, ah. It was like the siren, like I've been the siren, like she's calling. I really love that. That was a really good song. I really like Shapeshifter. I mean, this song, it's like she's essentially acknowledging or coming to terms with the different forms she takes and her ability to just go off of the whim, and how maybe that isn't necessarily the right way or the wrong way. It's just the way. It's just what she's doing, which once again is unfiltered. It's just, it is what it is. But all right, let's go on to track number 4, Man of the Year. A song we know, a song we love. What I am gonna do is I'm just gonna play it, but at the end I will talk about it, and I'll talk about my journey with this song as well. Riding through on my bike, I knew from my recent ego death. And you know what? Ego death is a trendy word, which did take me out the first time, but ultimately it's still a word that has great purpose. And for a freaking celebrity, it's never been more purpose. It's never been more necessary. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to have that. Love the crescendo. When I first heard this song, I didn't know how to respond because it's very different from What Was That. I was scared, because I think right now the landscape revolving around Lorde is unsure. This self-serious attitude that has been presented to us, partially from her, partially from just the media's interpretation. It's meant that people feel like, she thinks too highly of herself, which then puts a deeply critical lens into her music. And I just was really wanting it to be a bulletproof song because a bulletproof song will speak past all the other ish. But that's not necessarily the shape that is Man of the Year. Because, of course, this is supposed to be another form of a mission statement, right? Because it's a single prior to the album release. And this statement is supposed to say, hey, there's more to me than what I understood before. And I'm going to celebrate that ultimately. And it felt real for her. And when I listen to the song, like what are my takeaways? It actually isn't the crescendo, largely because I haven't needed to come to terms with the masculinity in me. If anything, it's the opposite. But the idea of like gliding through life, just sort of slipping from one stage into the next, that I understand, and then pausing and recognizing something that's different from who you once were and going, whoa, I can't glide how I used to. Now I gotta relearn how to move on these wheels, or I need some training wheels. So I still really enjoy the song. It's a little bit different for me than, it's just different. But okay, favorite daughter.
I was a singer, you were my fan. 'Cause I'm an actress, all of the measures I want for you.
Wow. This song is ugly so far, and I mean that in a good way, because it's saying she's doing these things so that she can be her mother's favorite daughter, and I know she has siblings who are also girly pops. And so the acknowledgement of that is pretty huge to me. Sometimes I'm just trying to make sure that this album's mission statement is true to itself and is Lorde, because I think if we're learning anything about who Lorde is, she's somebody who is on a journey of just saying things as they are, and we're coming to terms with what her childhood into early adulthood has become and what it became. I think it's really, I love the beat. I think it's really, that sounds shady, it's not. I think it's really interesting. I think she said, like, There was a time when her mom was the only person who cared about the music that she played. I think that's something that I relate to as well. I'm not sure anyone else cares yet, but point being, my mom loves what I do, and it feels genuine. The pre-chorus, now every day the plane takes off, and every night the room fills up with people who are convinced I'm not just some kid faking it for your love. She's basically like, I don't know what the F I'm doing.
Everywhere I've gone, I'm always running to you. Breaking my back down, carry the weight of your heart.
That's real. That I relate to, just knowing that you're moving through the world for your mother, also for my father in my case, but because they filled you up with so much that you keep going for them, for the belief that they put within you. That's real. I mean, listen, the planes, the cars, it also feels like she's sort of like uncomfortable with it. I get that. That was also in Solar Power. I think I just am poor, but I'm trying to not let that necessarily affect me, like, because it's just somebody else's experience. And it's an artist I respect, and who I do think puts a lot of thought into the work that they put out, so I'm not really triggered by it, but I just thought I would mention that. Track number 6, Current Affairs.
Ben, someone blows a flare. It tasted my underwear. I knew we were fucked.
Ooh, I love that.
Current affairs.
Ooh, I love that. I like that a lot.
All alone in my room.
I don't know what that was. I don't know whose voice that was, if it was Jimmy Stack or somebody else, but that, I love that. I think that just made the song for me. It's, yeah.
'Cause my bed is on fire. My bed is on fire.
Oh, sit in my mouth like you're saying a prayer. That's really strong imagery. I was gonna say gorgeous, and it is, but it's also like, ugh, but that's real. These are shorter songs, or they're not, they're full, but the endings have been abrupt for a couple of them. But I love Current Affairs. I think that's stronger for me than Man of the Year and Favorite Daughter. I don't know what that was. I mean, like, it fits into it, I think. It's a little bit hard to articulate feelings, both for an artist who is putting out a body of work I really want to love and I do really enjoy, but also one that already so much outside opinion has filtered in, and I feel like I am also judging it in a way that I really don't want to. It's just like, it's difficult to stand by your hopes and your thoughts in today's music climate. I would also say for film, but I loved the production on that. The production probably made that song. The production on this album has been really interesting. Track number 7, Clear Blue.
After the ecstasy, testing for pregnancy, praying in MP3. Metal detector hits my precious treasure. I'm nobody's daughter, yet baby, I'm free, I'm free.
There's a lot of references to mothering, to daughter, to sex. You know, it's really interesting because she hasn't necessarily touched on that as plainly. Yeah, it's good. I think I'm just gonna need more time with that one. I do tend to feel like the ones that need more time do get better with time. But it's really interesting. This album really does feel like a mix between, there's some Solar Power on here though. It's not all Solar Power, but there's some elements. I don't know what that was. I guess that was Virgin, but interesting. Okay, get ready with me. Track 8.
Maybe you finally know who you wanna be.
Ooh.
A grown woman in a baby tee.
I like this vibe.
Wide hips to the gym. 96. Skin scar. Looking forward.
See, it doesn't need to be like perfect pop. Like, I think that this is cool.
A grown woman.
Oh, grown woman. Not Get Ready With Me. Interesting.
Grown woman.
Oh. Okay, that song ended and it wasn't as abrupt, which I appreciated. She's still pretty self-serious. You know, I'm actually a big proponent in psychedelics, or, you know, just other forms of like mental health treatment. It does seem like when artists talk about it as of late, which she also has, it hasn't necessarily led to the most innovative art. When I think about what it's done for me, none of it has related to my art, at least on the page. And I am also somebody who thinks that the most profound things are the most simple, the most They're the cliches. They're the things your mom told you since you were 6, and now you're 25, and you feel like you heard it in a new way, and you know, you say it out loud, and it's like, wait, what? Like, that is very real. That is largely what that form of health treatment has done for me. So I don't need it to be radical for the outside, as long as it's radical for me. But she's discussed that it's clearly been a help in her journey and in her art. I don't know if that's related to her ego death or not. Something that I do get from Virgin, whether or not it's what my version fully of what vulnerability is very vulnerable for her. And I think there are parts of it that I would listen to again. Really, so far, the only song that I truly just was like, okay, it's been Clear Blue, but we still got 3 more songs. So let's move into track number 9, Broken Glass. Once again, super interesting production.
I let myself get sucked in by arithmetic.
Oh.
Felt great to strip me waist to hit.
Her hips are a really big focal point in this album, and that makes sense. I mean, look at the album cover. I have to look at what Genius is saying. What does that mean? Oh, this is dealing with ED. Oops. Sorry. Great. Glad she's recovering.
Won't outrun it if you don't hit back. It's time.
Ooh, won't outrun it if you don't hit back. I like that.
Broken glass. I'm scared to quit.
I like this a lot.
It's tough to admit just how much I get from it. Sleep about that, cheat about that, get too deep about that.
Literally ran out of storage, but we fully got through Broken Glass. I love that song. I will say that I think that what this album needs, I know we still got 2 more to go, but is at least 2 more What Was That? If She Could See Me Now.
In the city, I hear the voices of the ancients. They're calling for us. Hear their horses running up Prince Street. 'Cause I'm a mystic. I swim in waters that would drown so many other bitches.
Okay, this is raw, this is vulnerable. I'm trying to be honest. It's not all going to be positive. She's willing to admit that she feels different. She's willing to admit that she feels like other people wouldn't be able to handle what she does, which is fine. Fair. Fame is intense. But this album hasn't made me feel as if you're a mystic.
Right there, I can feel tiny fantasy. Oh God, if she could see me now.
The instrumental, once again, cool. Jimmy Stacks, you slapped. Good. Fine. Last track. David.
Was I just someone to dominate?
Oh shit.
You said open your mouth. I did. I don't belong to anyone.
This is a gorgeous arrangement, vocally.
Was I just young blood to get on tape?
Okay, so she feels as if the industry used her.
Why do we run to anyone?
Ooh.
Am I ever gonna love again? Ever clear up?
I really love that. That was gorgeous. Anyways, okay, that was Virgin. What are my final thoughts? It isn't everything that I wanted, but what I liked, I did really like. I hope she feels as if she's coming into herself. Yeah, I mean, it's a good album. I was excited for this album. I think I was just in the mood for some bulletproof pop that could still fit within this landscape. But that's not the era that she's in. And honestly, if we look at her discography, she's touched on it, right? But it's never been her main route. Her follow-through hasn't been in bulletproof pop. But as we all saw, and with Girls So Confusing, it's still possible. We saw with What Was That, it's possible that she can make it herself. I just wanted that to carry through a little bit more throughout the album. But I still really liked it. I'm still glad I reacted to it. I'd really love to hear your guys' thoughts, especially as the album went on and I sort of started to shift into different thoughts around it. I want to know where you agree, where you don't. Just know that this is a first listen through, that I tend to I tend to not enjoy music the first time through a lot of the time because it's a lot of information. It usually takes me time. If I have a full 180 with this album, which I'm open to, I will come on again to talk about it. Otherwise, maybe I'll just throw little blips here and there before other videos, at the starts of other videos. But anyways, okay. Goodbye, you guys. Good night. Subscribe. Thank you so much for chatting, hanging with me, and wearing some blue.